Welcome to our special coverage for the EU informal summit taking place in Cyprus, in the capital Nicosia, where President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated in this informal EU summit in the Cypriot capital Nicosia amid tensions that have triggered the global economic crisis. The present participation comes in the frame of the continuous consultations with the countries in the region and the European Union on the current developments in the Middle East, as well as the international and regional issues. President Sisi is also held talks on the sidelines of the summit with President of Cyprus, Nikos Christodoulidis. The summit, of course, holds great importance for Egypt and its cooperation with Europe, particularly regarding economic support and containing regional crises. The summit was attended by heads of the states and governments from several Middle East countries and large number of leaders from the European Union countries, noting its importance in light of the rapid developments in the region. And at the end of the summit, a press conference was held by many of the leaders, of course, to shed light on the most important points that were tackled during the meeting, where the Cypriot president talked about the importance of the participation of the Arab leaders, the importance of the participation of Egypt and Jordan, Syria and Lebanon, and the Secretary General of the GCC. And he said that restraint and dialogue and diplomacy are the only paths to achieve stability. And President Nikos said that we value Egypt's mediation efforts to a great extent, and to shed more light on the issue, we are joined over the phone by Engineer Mohamed Atia, the President of the Egyptian Energy Organization. Thank you so much, Engineer Atia, for being our guest for this evening.
Thank you.
Sir, a very important summit, the informal European summit, is taking place in Nicosia, the capital of Cyprus, with the participation of Arab and European leaders. Of course, one of the main issues that were tackled is the repercussions of the war, the Middle East crisis, on the world economy and on the increase, of course, of the price of energy. How do you see the importance of the summit, where at the end of the summit as well, in the press conference, they were mentioning, of course, the importance of the free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz with no toll, which is of great importance. How do you see the impact of this on the oil prices and the repercussions that were reflected due to the war?
Fine. Basically, European countries today are at the heart of the global energy crisis, not only as consumers, but as major drivers of market dynamics. The EU imports around 55 to 60% of its total energy needs, and despite diversification efforts, it still relies heavily on external gas and oil. After the sharp reduction of Russian gas from roughly 40% of EU imports in 2021 to less than 10% today, Europe shifted aggressively towards LNG, liquefied natural gas. This shift increased Europe's LNG imports to nearly about 130 to 140 billion cubic meters annually, putting in direct competition with Asian markets. And in the context of the current tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, which are nearly 20% of global oil and about 25% of LNG flows past, any disruption immediately amplifies price volatility, as we mentioned.
Yes.
At the same time, Europe is pushing an ambitious energy transition, targeting over around 40 to 45% renewable share by 2030. But this transition is not yet synchronized with supply security. So, as today, and what happened in the summit, which is focusing on the energy file, especially that Europe has been impacted negatively because of what happened in the Strait of Hormuz and what happened actually in the energy file during 2020 until now.
Yes.
So Europe's contributions to the challenges through this dual pressure, high import dependence combined with rapid structural transformation, which transmits instability across global energy markets, for sure.
Yes. Sir, of course, all the partners today agreed on the importance of finding a diplomatic solution to the crisis. They also agreed on the importance of the free navigation in the Strait of Hormuz without any toll applied. So, also the European partners talked about the security of the region is integral part of the security of Europe. What messages here are delivered today in order to start to end and diffuse the crisis in the Middle East, in order to stop its very negative repercussions on the world economy and on the economy of the whole world and the supply chain, the energy prices? And do you believe here that these statements that were made today could start to change the course of the events in the near future regarding the developments of the crisis in the Middle East region?
Sure. I think all of the countries who are attended this summit today is focusing and targeting ending this war.
Indeed.
And collaborate more and more to end this tough time. Because many of these countries are importing countries, especially for the oil and gas sector. And this affected negatively and heavily on the energy bill for each country, especially European countries, after we mentioned that the independence of the Russian oil and dependence of the LNG, which its prices has been increased from around $11 per million BTU to around $20 per million BTU, which is double the energy bill, especially for Europe.
Yes.
So Europe today is targeting increase the collaboration between the neighboring countries. I would like to highlight that.
Yes.
This is one of the most important outcomes of the energy, the current energy landscape. We are clearly witnessing a structural shift from resilience on single suppliers like the Gulf toward regional energy integration and interdependence. And Egypt, I would like to say that Egypt stands out as a leading example. Egypt has firmly positioned itself as a potential regional energy hub, primarily through its LNG liquefaction facilities in Edco and Damietta, with a combined export capacity around 12 million tons per year. And this infrastructure allows Egypt not only to meet domestic demand flexibility, but also to act as a processing and re-export gateway for East Mediterranean gas, like Cyprus.
Yes.
The key development reinforcing this role is the cooperation with Cyprus, particularly the agreements linked to the Phono gas field. And under these arrangements, Cyprus offshore gas can be directed to LNG facilities for processing and liquefaction, and as soon as possible, it will be directed to Europe by the liquefaction. So this collaboration between the countries will affect positively for the energy landscape.
Yes. We also heard from the EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. We heard about from Mr. Antonio Costa, the European Council President as well, about the importance and the strategic partnerships between Egypt and the importance of the strategic partnership between Egypt and the EU countries as well. So how do you see the significance of such partnerships between Egypt and the EU? And to what extent our cooperation in the field of energy and renewable energy is of great importance as well, Engineer Atia?
Firstly, I'd like to highlight that the reality is that energy transition will continue. I'd like to start with energy transition. It will continue to rely on traditional sources, especially natural and gas, for at least the next 15 to 12 years, around 2040. So today, fossil fuels still account for nearly 70% of Europe's total energy mix, while renewables are growing, but not sufficient to ensure baseload stability. But I would like to mention that Egypt is collaborating with EU countries through Cyprus by two main factors, or two main projects. The first one is the gas processing from the Cyprus gas fields, and directing this gas from Egypt by liquefaction to all Europe countries. This is the first pillar. The second pillar is the electric transformation and electric transition between Egypt and Europe. It will be used by electric cables below the sea. But I would like also to highlight regarding the renewables and solar and wind energy potential in Egypt. For example, we are around 8 gigawatts generated from Egypt, and this potential and our goal toward 42% of our energy mix to be rely on renewable energy. This is the most attractive option for Europe to increase the collaboration between Egypt and Europe in the energy transition side.
Yes. Engineer Atia, of course, the recent or the current crisis and the increase in the prices of energy did raise the alarm about the importance of finding alternative sources of energy in order not to face such repercussions if the situation did occur in the future, or the danger of depending on the fossil fuel mainly for sources of energy and the liquefied gas. So Egypt and Cyprus actually also are collaborating to a great extent in the field of energy. So how do you see such cooperation and strategic partnership binding Egypt with Cyprus in particular?
Let's mention my statement in each discussion that this is the time for the green energy revolution, because the gap between the price of energy generation by natural gas and by solar and wind is decreased, but the world now is targeting generating more and more green energy, especially Europe. Europe is targeting this kind of action because of two things. The first one is energy security, to diversify the electricity generation sources. The natural gas will be decreased and the green energy will be increased. And the second one is the climate change. And Europe is, I'd like to mention that Europe is the main region of securing this kind of actions, the climate change actions. So, as you know, the energy transition toward green energy is decreasing and declining the carbon emissions production. So Egypt is the main neighborhood partner with Europe, especially Cyprus, because of Egypt has the potential of generating this kind of energy, the green energy, by using its high accuracy and high production rate of solar energy and wind energy, especially in Aswan and in the Suez Gulf area. And also, the main attractive thing is the regulation reforming which is done by Egypt through the 5 years, the recent 5 years.
Yeah.
And this will affect positively for the EU countries and Egypt in multiple things, especially in the economy and energy stability, energy security, and also climate change actions.
Yes, indeed. Sir, of course, we are depending on great extent on the renewable energy, and Egypt is doing great effort in order to achieve that. Also, on the other hand, we are increasing our cooperation with countries like Cyprus, like Greece, also in developing cooperation in the energy sector, especially our discoveries in gas, and that is a very important cooperation for the Eastern Mediterranean. What's your take on that?
Egypt is focusing on the infrastructure pillar, which is one of the most important factors of energy security and energy stability in any country. So what Egypt did regarding the infrastructure and what the investments have been pushed toward this important pillar is huge, and the results of this investment we can see it now, because Cyprus doesn't and this region doesn't have the same and the identical type of our infrastructure, especially in the gas processing and gas liquefaction facilities.
Yes.
And this is like the gate for the European gas to transport the gas from these countries, Cyprus and Greece, toward Egypt and liquefy this gas, process firstly and then liquefy this gas and transport by LNG shipment to Europe. So the focusing of increasing the infrastructure and increasing the gas facilities and oil facilities will show its importance these days and after. And I'd like also to highlight the importance of the infrastructure, as we mentioned before, after the Strait of Hormuz partial closure or full closure.
Yes.
Egypt infrastructure has a very critical role regarding transport the oil, the Saudian oil from Saudi Arabia to Egypt, then to Europe.
Yes.
So increased investment of the infrastructure in Egypt will increase the energy potential for Egypt and the cooperation potential between Egypt and the EU, and the regulation reforming will still be the second most important pillar, which will continue faster and easier the collaboration between Egypt and EU countries.
Yes, indeed. Engineer Mohamed Atia, member of Egypt's Energy Council, thank you so much, sir, for your precious input. And of course,